Good afternoon. The time is 4:02, and I would like to call to order the April Tax Day meeting of the Board of Police Commission. Of the Traffic Authority. We have a quorum. We have Commissioner Collier Clemens, Commissioner Tony Lopez, Commissioner Nate Sumter, and Mayor Harry Rilling. First item on the agenda is public comment. If you're here to talk, if you're here because you're an applicant for one of the items on the agenda, you can speak at that time. This public hearing is for people that are wanting to address the traffic authority about various issues. I don't know if there's anybody online that wishes to address the traffic authority.
Well, we have somebody calling in, so I'm going to unmute them. If you'd like to speak, can you please state your name and address for the record? It does not appear so here.
Okay. That being the case,
Hello?
Hello? That being the case, we will end public session.
Hello?
Yes?
Right.
You may want to disconnect that person. I don't know what that may be.
Okay.
Mute them and disconnect. We've had some problems with people hacking into some of the meetings.
Okay. He's muted.
Okay. So the first item, we'll need a motion on item number 1. Can I get a motion?
So move.
Move to approve the minutes. Is there any corrections, deletions, or omissions? Seeing none, all in favor of the minutes, approving the minutes as submitted for the March 18th, 2024 meetings? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Opposed? Abstentions?
I abstain.
Ms. Commissioner Collier Clemens abstains. Motion carries. Next, item number 2. Do I have a motion on item number 2 to approve the full road closure for the annual City of Norwalk?
Sorry, I
Memorial
move
Day
item
Parade.
2 for
Okay.
approval full closure of the annual City of Norwalk's Memorial Day Parade.
Okay. This is from what I imagine, Mr. Benjamin, this is the same route every year.
Yes, this is the same one we approved last year and the previous years where you and the police walk through the city as part of the city's parade. So.
Okay. Are there any questions by the commission on this request? Any comments from the police department?
No, sir.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next item is pretty similar. Item number 3. Who will move item 3?
I move item 3 to approve the full closure of Howland Avenue.
Okay. This is for the annual Rowayton Memorial Day Parade. I know we have Ms. Moran here. It looks like this is the same as always. Am I correct?
Yes. Hi, everyone. It is the same as always, but I think I'm actually on here to represent the Rowayton's Father's Day Fun Run, which is on Father's Day, June 16th. Is that also on the agenda?
It is not. I don't see it on the agenda.
I think the name we were given was RCA Fun Run. I think they're the same thing, Ms. Moran, if I'm correct. Oh, they're not
the same. No, they're not the same thing. The Fun Run is actually on actual Father's Day, June 16th this year, which is an annual event. The same map is typical. What you just mentioned as the motion sounds like the annual Rowayton Memorial Day Parade.
That's what it is here.
Yes.
Okay, and I'm
No.
I'm not unfortunately representing that. I can sort of try to.
I know the Memorial Day Parade was approved last meeting. This is for the Fun Run.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is for the
yeah.
Fun Run.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
it is
Good.
for the Fun Run. Okay. And that's the
All right.
same thing we've done every year. Am I correct?
Correct.
I saw row 8 and then I just assumed it was Memorial Day Parade because we just passed the city one. So are there any questions from the commission or traffic authority?
Well, excuse me, but are we on item number
Three.
3?
Yes, item number 3.
Okay, now I don't see fun run in the description of this
Correct.
item.
It's on the map, but not on the item description.
Well,
It says for the annual Memorial Day Parade on May 26th from 11 to 1:30.
now you see, I have a different agenda then because mine says approve the full closure for the annual row 8 and Civic Association Fun Run.
Okay, well, let me look and see here.
No, you're actually correct, Mayor. I stand corrected. I didn't see
Yeah.
fun run at the end.
Yeah, and it mentioned fun run on June the 16th.
Yes,
Okay.
but that's,
Okay.
is that the day of the fun run, Ms. Moran?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And it's the same as it's always been.
Yes, it is.
Okay, any questions from the authority or from the police department?
No, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. That brings us to item 4. Who will move that item?
I'll move that item 4, having to do with the first Derby Day event.
Okay. Is Mr. Morel here? Or Mr. Benjamin, do you have the information on this? Oh,
Ms. Barold or Ms. Godeski will be
Ms.
presenting it,
Brialt's
Mayor.
here, okay. So, Ms. Brialt, you want to just give us a briefing on this? This is, since it's the first one. You're muted.
Hello, sorry about that. The first Kentucky Derby, they're calling it the Ultimate Kentucky Derby Block Party, is on May 4th. The actual event is from 3 to 10 p.m. and it'll take place on River Street and within the businesses on River Street, like Bank House and Greer. I believe Jean Morel is on the call. So if there are any questions that you have that I can't answer, he can answer them. But this is the same closure that occurred during our Wall Street Wonderland holiday event that took place this past year. Exact same closure from the Burnell Boulevard side all the way down to Wall Street, full closure of River Street. And we have it from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. Arc Soundstage Lighting, who Jean is with, will be setting up a stage at the end of River Street towards the Wall Street side. I believe for the holiday event, they used cones and to block off like a lane of traffic, or maybe it was the parking spaces. So they didn't need the closure for the entire time, but I only put 9 a.m. just in case they didn't need, or they didn't use the cones. The lot, the Yankee Doodle garage, sorry, will be cannot be accessed through River Street, completely closed off. And also that lot in front of Yankee Doodle garage that the businesses use, like where Greer's is, will not be accessed either. And those businesses are being notified. So the only way to get into Yankee Doodle garage and the closest parking area can be accessed through Burnell Street. There will not be alcohol or vending whatsoever on River Street. The purpose for the closure is just for easy and safe access for attendees to and from the businesses throughout the day, as well as obviously the stage at the end of the street. And they will have large screens for the viewing of the Kentucky Derby. And that's all I have.
Okay, so the question I have is, what is actually going to be on River Street other than people?
The stage at the end of River Street.
Okay,
We'll have restrooms and sinks towards the end of the opposite side, towards the Burnell side, like we did for Wall Street Wonderland. I am not positive about what else is going to be on River Street. Jean, if you're still in here, you can talk more if there's anything else on River Street. I actually think he was the one muted at the beginning of this call.
Okay. The only, well, there's two questions I have. Are there going to be police officers present to prevent people from bringing alcohol out of the establishments and monitoring that?
So I believe ARC is hiring and providing security, their own security, which we will be in contact. I know Chief Walsh was in contact with Jess Wanachek about security, and I'm still getting that information from Jane from ARC, who is getting the security. I think we discussed that the police will be needed on each opposite end, though.
The other thing I have is said, inside the restaurants, you can place your bets and soak in lively atmosphere. What kind of betting are we referring to?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with Derby bets. I've never taken part of any betting
Well,
in the Kentucky Derby.
unless it's a an authorized betting venue, that I don't imagine they're betting money and paying that money out. Maybe
I
we can
don't-
find out a little bit more about that and
Yeah,
talk to the
yeah.
chief about it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mayor Rilling, Deputy Chief Blake has been contacted, and we do have a whole security plan with officers. He has that if Deputy Chief Blake wants to explain some of the security we have in place for that evening.
Yeah, Mayor, it'll be similar to what we had for the winter event as far as officers at either end and officers patrolling on
Yep.
foot in that small area to ensure the status quo and keep the drinking in the bars.
Okay, I think we need to look into the comment about betting at some point,
Yeah,
see how we're gonna figure that out.
Yes, Mayor,
Yes,
I'll touch base with Economic Development tomorrow in
Okay.
regards to any liquor laws in consumer protection that prohibits that.
The last comment I have is if you could make sure there are barriers preventing people from exiting the garage on the River Street end. Because there's going to be people all around there, and want to make sure that the car doesn't come out that way, thinking that they can exit there. Any other questions from the commission authority?
I do.
Oh.
I have.
What's the charge for attending that?
It's free. It's a free event.
Ms. Briol,
Mhm.
I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly.
You did, yeah.
You made reference to a 3 o'clock time at the very early part. I'm trying to reconcile that with the closure time of 9 and 11.
Yeah. So originally when I made this closure map, the actual time of the event wasn't confirmed. I think the races start as early as 10 a.m. So I did put a 9 a.m. in case they wanted to start the event at 10 a.m. But they have confirmed the start time of the event, which is 3.
So it's 3 o'clock.
Yes. So
So
if
you-
we needed to shorten the closure, that's completely fine. I just
Yeah, that's what I'm
had
trying to
this-
understand, because that seems like a wide gap.
Yeah. It wasn't sure when I submitted this at first.
Yeah, I think if they're going to close the road down, you may be correct, Commissioner Lopez. Maybe around 11 or 12 would be a better
Yeah, I would think.
to get set up and everything.
I mean,
Well,
the
the
chief might
stage
be
is
in a better position to suggest otherwise, but
When is the stage going to be put there? That may be something that is that going to be the showmobile?
Yeah. Well, no, they bring their own equipment. It is a trailer though, I think. It's yeah.
All right.
so that might be also part of the question as to, the vendors coming in to set up and so forth, and we don't know anything about that part on what time they should be expected to arrive and set up.
Mhm. I know Jean Morel, who is the one bringing the stage, and we don't have any other vendors other than the porta potties, but they can come at any time since they're not completely on the street. They're in the patch of grass in front of Yankee Doodle Garage, like how it was. But I believe he's still muted. I don't know if you can unmute him. He's the phone number.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay,
Hello?
yes.
Steve Morel here. How you doing?
Okay, good. How are you?
Good. So to answer the question about the bedding, there is a OTB at the top of the street that will not be handled through the bars. That will be handled through the OTB directly. And there will be an entrance for people to go into that structure and place their
Okay.
bets. It has nothing to do with bars and restaurants.
Okay, that clears that up.
And then the question for the stage, we have a L stage, which is a similar to the show mobile that you guys have for the city. It's a aluminum structure, same basic style of stage, but it will have a video wall attached to it, so you could view the Kentucky Derby and the lead up to the races.
Do you have an expected time of the setup for the stage or the bathroom facilities or anything of the sort?
Yeah, so the setup of the stage will be probably around 8 a.m. We will actually be setting it up on the sidewalk. It will not be obstructing the street at all. We're just closing the street for the time when we're going to have people there. We put it a little bit earlier just in case. We could push that back later till about an hour before start time. There will be nothing else in the street. There'll be no obstructions. We just shot a little earlier because we didn't have a definite time of what time it was going to start when we applied for the permit.
Okay. Does that answer your question, Commissioner Lopez?
It does, and so it brings up the issue and the questions, and it's not going to impact, the traffic at any point. Sure, they can set up at 8 a.m., but we also may not need to close the streets down any earlier than necessary, correct, Ms. Barreau?
That's correct.
Yes,
If we want to do
we can,
a 12 p.m. to 11 p.m.
we could even do up to, like, I guess 2. If we're starting doors at 3, 2 would be fine as well.
Well, I revert back to both the police chief, the mayor, and the commission as to how they feel about that.
Chief Walsh, or do you have any concerns, or what time you feel would be a good time to close down?
I really don't have it because that's not a high traversed road. So I really don't see much of an impact in those in a couple hours in the morning. It's because they still have access to the bank from Wall Street, Bank of America.
And that's kind of my thought, there might not be a lot of traffic, but you do have, of course, the restaurants and, patrons who, visit. So I don't know what impact or adverse impact that may have.
Every business that will be the event is a business that will be impacting. So from right now is on the same page.
Well, I would recommend Commissioner Lopez that maybe 1 o'clock, 2 hours before the event might.
I would think that would sound reasonable. 2 hours before.
That would be great for us.
Unless someone thinks otherwise.
So did you want to make an amendment to that effect?
Sure. I move that we amend the time of the closure of the streets to 2 hours before the start time. The start time is 3 o'clock, and therefore we would, in effect, have the closure commence at 1 p.m.
Is there any other questions from the authority or the commissioners or the department?
I have one question. You mentioned that you were going to notify the business owners in the area. That has not been done yet. Is that correct?
Every business that's on River Street will be in part of this event. So everyone that it will be affecting is notified already of the event.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Okay, seeing none, all in favor of the amendment, of the item as amended?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. Last item on the agenda is approve the new 1 hour parking regulations Monday through Saturday for 28 Mountain Street. Can I have a motion on that?
I move discussion on item 5.
Who's handling that? Mr. Benjamin, are you handling that?
Yes, that'll be me, Mr. Mayor. So honorable commissioners, Mr. Mayor, if you remember from about, I believe it was the January commission, we had a similar deli located on Lexington Avenue that we had approved 2 spaces for 1 hour parking, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for the business. This is the same concept, just on Boughton Street, 28 Boughton Street. There's a deli called Manny's Deli. The owner of the business had came in and asked if we could do a similar parking situation because they had issues with vehicles parking on the street and not having ability for customers of the deli to come in and buy sandwiches. There is parking on the lot. However, that parking is for the residents who live above the deli, and there's a some sort of contracting yard industry in the back of the lot that also uses the parking there. So they don't have any parking for the deli customers themselves. So they had come to us. We didn't see any issue with giving them two spots with 1 hour parking, 9 to 7. It would fill their requirements. They seemed okay with it. So we were coming to you to ask any recommendations you had before we to get it approved.
And the police department would be called upon to enforce that, or
Yes, this would be police.
Chief, you have any concerns, or Deputy Chief Blake?
Besides the traffic authority who uses the LPRs to determine how long a vehicle has been parked there, we'll have difficulty in determining
Yeah.
Right. I think the
start and end.
Apologies.
Sorry.
Sorry, Chief Walsh. I think the ability here is the same as the ability on Lexington. You know, if a vehicle is staying too long, then they get called. But for the most part, I think it's, vehicles come, they go as they please. And unless there's an issue of a vehicle staying too long, it would be just have a time limit to allow that overturn.
Commissioners, any questions?
So the parking spots that we approved on Lexington Avenue, that's working well?
Sorry, Commissioner Clemens. I haven't seen any data from it to say whether it's working well or not. There has been no complaints. We don't monitor it constantly just because it's not in our radar right now, but there hasn't been any issues we've heard from the business or any residents of the street. So.
Other than you weren't talking to Commissioner Gomez, you were talking to Commissioner Clemens?
Collier Clemens.
Oh, I apologize.
Okay.
And it's Commissioner Lopez.
Oh, Lopez.
Okay. Any
Okay.
further questions from any of the commissioners?
I do just have a question with the 1 hour parking. So
Yes, of course.
obviously this is a takeout deli. I don't think it's a sit down deli. And so I'm just trying
Right.
to really understand why 1 hour, why not half hour if you want the turnover, to people, for people to move on. And it's only 2
Mhm.
parking spots. I'm just trying to understand that.
So we're trying to stay away from 15 minutes outside of our regularly regulated enforcement areas, such as on Wall Street and Washington Street, just because those have the LPR readers regularly go down them, so they're much easier to enforce the 15 minutes. While here, it's not really.
Right. I'm not suggesting any particular time and much
Right.
less maybe 15 minutes. I'm just merely saying why 1 hour, not half an hour. That's all. I'm just curious.
No reason, Commissioner Lopez. We just don't have the half hour signs. We don't have those types of signs. They're currently not made. It just says
Got it.
30 minutes. There's
Okay.
no time limit on those. And we do want to
Okay.
allow residents to park overnight. So we just don't have that ability on that type of sign.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, of course.
Any further comment or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion
Thank you,
carries
Commissioner.
unanimously. That is all the items on the agenda. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, it's 4:27 and we are adjourned. Now we will meet on the Police Commission. Zoom meeting.